your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM for today, May 9th, 2021. A very happy Mother's Day to all our mothers out there, and we pray that you will have a beautiful day full of love, of the Creator's blessings and love. A rose for you from all of us here at Team Kaieteur Radio and of course Kaieteur News. Happy Mother's Day once again. Before we get into the top stories we're tracking, let me turn my attention to the front page comment that is titled, "Wake Up Guyana." Would you allow a man to come in your house and blatantly rob you and your family? No way. Well, that is what ExxonMobil and the oil companies are doing to every one of us when it comes to our wealth. Please, wake up Guyana. Your future is at stake. These are the top stories we're tracking for today, May 9th, 2021. Guyana's royalty is for oil sold, but Exxon recoveries costs on everything produced. Russians caught on video assaulting Guyanese worker in mining camp. World standing at the edge of the cliff with climate change. We can no longer afford big fossil fuel projects anywhere, according to UN Secretary General. Murder suspect wakes up to chopping in prison. And Health Ministry had excluded 6 COVID-19 deaths from its reporting over 2 weeks. Meanwhile, boy 17 shot during scuffle with police. Get the details of these stories and much more. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us right here on The Radio with a Difference. Much has been said about the quantum of the royalty that is received for crude being produced from the Stabroek Block, with stakeholders that the PSA gives Guyana a 2% royalty along with a 50-50 split on profits. On the provisions of the PSA with ESSO, ExxonMobil Guyana and its partner, royalty is calculated at 2% of oil that is produced and sold. As such, royalty is not calculated against the total production for each month. Cost recovery, on the other hand, is calculated against the total production for the month, minus what is required for the petroleum operations, such as crude stored in pipelines and the gas used to power the Liza Destiny. When it comes to climate change, the world is standing at the edge of the abyss. In fact, the world is still heeding for the disastrous temperature rise of 2.4 degrees by the end of the century. With such a state of affair, it is clear that the world cannot afford a big fossil fuel projects anywhere, or it may very well push nations over the dangerous price pipe upon which it stands. This rude awakening was recently presented by Secretary General of the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, at the recent convening of the Climate Dialogue. The Secretary General was keen to know that last year was yet another unprecedented period of extreme weather and climate disaster. The UN official said that carbon dioxide again rose to a new high, 148% above the pre-industrial levels. This, he said, is the highest level for 3 million years. He said that last year was already 1.2 degrees Celsius hotter than pre-industrial times, dangerously close to the 1.5 degree limit set by scientific community. 2 Russian men were caught on camera assaulting a Guyanese worker in a mining camp located in the Region 7 jungle. The video recording of the assault went viral after it was uploaded by an online media house yesterday. It began with a Russian man placing a Guyanese worker in a rare chokehold. Another Russian attacked him from the front, and the other man tightened his grip. The Guyanese worker was wrestled to a wooden bench by a second Russian attacker, who was heard ordering him to sit down. The Guyanese man put some resistance and was dragged to a wooden table. The worker further resisted the assault, and the Russian continued to wrestle and drag him out of the mining camp building, which they were in. He was placed in a vice grip for a second time and thrown to the ground. We have been told by reliable sources that the assault took place on March 30th, 2021. It is believed that the mining area where the incident took place is in the Mazaruni Region 7 area. This newscast learned too that the assaulted worker is Charles MacDonald, who is employed as a cook with a company called Innovative Mining Inc. The Russians who assaulted him, according to information received from sources within the company, are also its employees. They have been identified as Chief Security Officer Viktor Surkin and Site Manager. A representative from the company informed this newscast that MacDonald was allegedly caught stealing some 11.9 grams of gold that afternoon. A murder suspect on the remand at the Lusignan prison woke up on Thursday to a chopping from two of his fellow inmates. The wounded prisoner is identified as Alan Bastio. According to police, he was attacked around 23 hours 15 by his fellow inmates, Russian and Sonic. The incident reportedly took place in the holding bay 2. Police reported that Bastio was awakening from his sleep by a loud noise. Bastio told investigators that when he opened his eyes, he saw two masked inmates armed with weapons. The men then chopped Bastio twice to his left side of his head before an alarm was raised. He was reportedly rescued and taken to the prison's section where he received medical attention. Police stated that he was later transported to the Georgetown Public Hospital as well. Acting Director of Prison Nicholas Elliott said that Bastio's condition is stable and he has since returned to the Lusignan prison. Elliott informed Kaieteur Radio that the chopping reportedly stemmed from an old quarrel which the injured man had with the two suspects. You're listening to your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. A 17-year-old boy is now a patient at the Georgetown Public Hospital after being shot twice by a policeman on Friday. Reports are that on the day in question, police wells in the vicinity of Dennis Street and D Fields Access Road, Sophia, East Coast, Demerara, a known character to law enforcement, was seen riding a red motorcycle with a haversack on his back. Upon seeing the police vehicle, the teenager immediately made a U-turn and sped off in the western direction on Dennis Street. A chase ensued. After navigating several cross streets and back roads, the young man eventually abandoned his motorcycle at his home and ran into his yard. He then scaled his neighbor's fence with the police in pursuit. Ranks alleged that as they closed in to capture the boy, a scuffle ensued during which the teenager held on to the firearm of the apprehending police. As the brawl continued, the gun went off. And finally, at this time, a recent announcement by the Ministry of Health has revealed that it has been underreported COVID-19 deaths as far as April 25th. Yesterday, the ministry announced the death of 3 persons in its press release. It was stated that they all died on May 7 while receiving treatment at a medical facility. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health reported 130 new infections via its daily dashboard update yesterday, which shows the total number of confirmed cases increased to 14,203. The dashboard also shows that 17 patients are in the COVID-19 intensive care unit, another 17 in institutional quarantine, 100 in institutional isolation, and 1,691 in home isolation. Additionally, a total of 12,072 persons have recovered to date, with 144 new recoveries recorded yesterday. And with that, we have come to the end of your main newscast right here at Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Allow me to remind you that Kevin Smith comes up next with the Weekend Review, whereby we recap all the top stories we carried over the past week. Once again, on behalf of Kaieteur News and Kaieteur Radio, we want to send all moms, grandmoms, stepmoms, foster moms, adoptive moms, and even pet moms out there a big hug today. We pray that you will all have a beautiful day full of the Creator's blessing and love. A rose for you. Happy Mother's Day once again from all of us here at Team Kaieteur Radio. Have a great remainder of your day, encouraging you to practice social distancing and of course to wear your face mask, and as always, practice good hand hygiene. So long.